Stuffed in freezers at police departments across the valley, there are thousands of rape cases with DNA evidence that has never been tested. ABC 15 investigator Dave Biscobing broke that story last night.
And now he's exposing how it's part of a larger problem for Valley Police when it comes to solving sexual assaults.
She was just hurting so much.
Maria will never forget the moment she found her daughter Jamie after she was raped.
There's just nothing I could do to comfort her.
Looking back is not easy for Maria or for Jamie's aunt and grandmother.
And they take her back in the room and rape her.
Jamie Jurek was gang raped at this Mesa apartment complex by men she didn't know.
Because they were wearing the bandanas.
Check the case file. It gets worse. Jamie was 8.5 months pregnant.
Put a gun to her. They also put a gun to her stomach.
That was 11 years ago, and it became a cold case. But Mesa Sergeant Chuck Lyons and Detective George Beck say that changed instantly last year. They matched DNA to this man, who was in jail.
For any crime that they're arrested for, taken to jail, that DNA swabs are being collected.
That means if evidence from Jamie's case wasn't tested for DNA, there would have been no arrest and no conviction. Especially since Jamie didn't make it to trial.
Thank God she didn't die that day.
In some way, she did die that day.
Jamie and her baby survived that night, but she slipped into a deep depression that would trouble her for years. 2 months before her rapist would go to trial, she died after overdosing on her medication.
She was not here to tell her story, but the DNA did.
Odise Hill will spend the next 90 years behind bars. In the Valley, what happened in Jamie's case is the exception, not the rule. The ABC 15 investigators uncovered there are almost 3,000 rape cases with untested DNA. Experts say that leaves accused rapists on the street. Across the country, the FBI says the arrest rate for rapes is 25%. In Arizona, it's just 14%. When we broke it down for the Valley, we found in the past 5 years, every police department fell below the national average for making arrests in reported sex assaults. Gilbert was the highest at 23%. The Maricopa County Sheriff's Office was the lowest at 6.6%. Sarah Tofty researches how police departments respond to sex crimes across the country. She specifically focuses on how they handle DNA evidence.
An untested kit often means that the rape case wasn't taken particularly seriously by law enforcement.
Tofty says the number of untested kits we uncovered may point to a larger problem in how police here investigate sex crimes.
Most cities and states haven't really taken on this issue or reckoned with it.
But Tofty says the police departments who have experienced dramatic results.
They actually saw their arrest rate jump significantly.
In New York City, police cleared its backlog and now test every kit that comes in. Their arrest rate jumped from 40 to 70%. In Los Angeles County, they finished testing more than 6,000 kits last year. The new DNA led to 245 arrests. Prosecutors and police in Illinois, Detroit, and Cleveland have also decided to process untested kits. We asked our county attorney why the Valley isn't following their lead. Is Bill Montgomery, our county attorney, taking a back seat to this issue?
No, that's not my role. Each municipality and their law enforcement agency and those that have crime labs, it's a decision for them to make whether or not they do it.
But Phoenix police, who have the most untested kits in the Valley, don't think it's an issue.
We would like to have that discretion. We know that it's been taken away in other states.
This whole issue with it even being a question of whether or not you process a rape kit, I mean, why is that a question?
In the rape of Maria's daughter, the suspects tried to erase any proof that they raped Jamie.
And put her under scalding hot water, trying to get rid of the evidence.
The smallest piece of evidence at a crime scene could lead to a potential suspect through DNA.
It did in Jamie's case, and her family says it could in many others.
There's forgotten people. Somebody needs to speak for them.
Like in this case, detectives tell us rapists often commit other crimes. So if they test these kits and don't get a DNA hit right away, they just wait for the suspect to get arrested for another crime and then put them away for good.
Yeah, you would think they would want to do it just to build the database of DNA, because there's so many of these samples sitting out there that can't be matched with anything.
Yeah, and bolster the cases as well. Well, you know, if you missed any of last night's story, you're really missing out. You want to go to abc15.com and watch the whole thing. There are a lot more twists to come this week. All right.